and welcome back. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off these postcard things that I've not been able to do because, frankly, some of the locations of these things are outright ridiculous. Some are not too bad, but you'll see some of them are placed in some really stupid locations, which you'll only be able to figure out with a guide. Now in the Gizmo shop, this clock will only give you postcards if you press all the buttons on the upper floors. Which was the thing I didn't realize what they did. And this one is hidden in this damn corner. Because game design. Ain't that wonderful, kids? Anyway, that's one side quest done, and we'll soon be able to go on with the plot in a moment. Get closer to beating this damn game. If I recall last time, we couldn't go to Allot Bastion because the Heartless have already taken the road there. We'll have to use an alternate road that's inaccessible thanks to Sid's hidden gummy piece or whatever. So let's get this over with. Gummy ship missions. I love watching them for the second time, and by love them, I don't really care much for them. This is the second time recording because I made a mistake in the editing and had to fix it, so that's something that for the cutscenes would be there. Which I thought was in the recording, but whatever. It's the joys of video recording, and I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but whatever. I just want to be finished with this LP and be finished with this game so that we can all move on to something different. I mean, I love this game. Even after all the crap I deal with, I still think it's a good game, and I think everybody should give it a try at some point in their lives. Because this game is flawed, yes. But a lot of great games are flawed. There's no game that's absolutely perfect. There's always a flaw even with the greatest games. But the thing is, all of the good things of the game outweighs the bad things, which makes it great. The bad things about a game is, a bad game usually has bad things outweigh the good things. Even if there are good things about a game, the bad thing just makes it unenjoyable for a lot of people. And I think Kingdom Hearts is a pretty fun game. It's tedious at some points, but overall it's fun. The gameplay is fun, the story is dumb, but still somewhat enjoyable. You get to visit Disney World. Always a fun thing. And I'm gonna be a bit sad that it's ending soon, even if I am thankful it's over soon. I do kind of wish that these gummy minigames were a bit more interesting. Thankfully, in the future games, these do get a lot more interesting. There we go. Having weird feelings to deja vu? Well, get used to it. You're gonna have to go through the entirety of this place all over again. Since the developers didn't figure the game was long enough, they decided that at this point they reset all of the save points. You have to unlock them all over again and start from 0. Or, so you have to climb up this giant ass castle all over again. Twice if you're me and you forgot to pick up treasure along the road. Anyway, so at this point I'm just going to go ahead and collect all the treasures and all of the stuff in Allot Bastion. Or at least as many as I can find that can be hard to get, so that we don't have to deal with them in the future. We are reaching again the end of the game, since this is this next to last point of the game. And this is also the next to last part. About time as well. Now it wasn't as tedious as perhaps like Lost Crown or such, but certainly damn lengthy. It certainly required a lot of work on my part due to the amount of editing, the recording, such and such. Still, I think overall I had quite good fun.
Oh, Belle.
I'll go into more detail about my opinions of the game once we reach the credits. For now, you just have to do what needs to be done and finish off this place as quickly as possible. Now, I recommend actually finishing your business in Hollow Bastion as quickly as possible, because I believe it causes the Heartless not to stop spawning here. I think. I could be wrong, but it seems to be spawning less of them after you clear your business here. But instead, I decided to be a fool and try to collect all the treasures before that. Fair, it's been forever since I played this game, so This is the penalties. This is stuff you have to suffer for not using a guide. Yeah, I'm kind of impressed how thoroughly I've come through the game. I doubt I got all of the treasure, but I got pretty close to all of them, I gotta say. I did get all of the Dalmatians eventually, which is quite impressive. It's certainly worthwhile, which you'll see later. Anyway, here's all the princesses, and they're hanging around here, trying to prevent the end of the worlds. Anyway, after climbing all the way back up, we got a couple of more treasures around here. And after that, we shall go ahead and finish our business within Hollow Bastion for good. The Oblivion is good for those who rather use physical damage than magic, but I like magic because it allows me to heal more. And that should be almost all of the Dalmatians. Anyway, say hi to the Behemoth.
Give me strength.
And the Behemoth is not that tough, to be honest. He has a lot of HP, but no biggie. With the Behemoth, you just want to basically get on his back and attack his horn. Attack it enough and you'll eventually stun him. But once he recovers, he'll try to do a lightning attack against you, which can be kind of tricky to dodge since he has a very strict timing. But it's not a tough boss overall. Compared to everything you faced, Riku, Dragon Maleficent, you should have no trouble with this one. I really doubt I needed to use Tinkerbell for this, but I figured, why not? Also, get used to seeing this guy a lot, because in the last world, they spawn subspecies of this guy all over the place. I kind of get the feeling I probably should have maybe done something to shorten this off, but whatever. There we go, that should just about do it.
Now let's go and seal that big keyhole.
Sora, you did it. We may never meet again, but we'll never forget each other.
No matter where we are, our hearts will bring us together again.
Besides, I couldn't forget you even if I wanted to.
What's that supposed to mean?
Hurry! Come and close the keyhole!
Sora, good luck.
Right. So before you actually go ahead and leave Hollow Bastion, you want to go ahead and talk to the various Final Fantasy characters as they got gifts for you. One of them is the Answers reports. Several of them, in fact. We don't have all of them, unfortunately, so I was showing them off once I got all of them. That will probably be on my beginner account. Beginner save file. Not account, sorry. Anyway, you want to keep talking to her because she'll eventually give you the final healing spell. We're going to need it, trust me, buddy. We'll be there once we got all the pages, don't worry. I don't think Leon has anything for us, but we do get some exposition about the backstory of this place. So, yeah. At this point, I decided to go in and turn in all the Dalmatians I found, only to realize that that's not quite all of them. I'm missing one Dalmatian, or 3 Dalmatians, which are in one chest. Whoops. So back to Hollow Bastion we go. And here it is. And I forgot to showcase me using gravity to show you need to lower it, but yeah. I had a lot of trouble getting that one because enemies spawn after you return to Hollow Bastion. So let's return all these damn pups in here now. For our painstaking efforts, we actually get a worthwhile spell. We get the final upgrade of Arrow, which now not only attacks enemies, but allows to deflect deflectable attacks. Which is, needless to say, super useful and essential for the final world. Because the enemies in there are relentless. And here we got not the most spectacular gummy ship, but I just figured I'd want a gummy ship with just a lot of guns in them. And this is it. We're now heading towards the final world of Kingdom Hearts. And soon we'll be done with this very, very long game. Still, I had fun. I hope you had fun. I might not be the best commentator, and I know I made plenty of mistakes in commentary. And it is very difficult to commentate without having co-commentators with you, since I do find that Ben and Furiel are pretty good at, providing fun things to talk about. And I think it doesn't help that this game is also not the most ideal thing to do commentary for, because there's so many instances of stuff not happening. But yeah, I still think I had fun in the end. But this world is gonna be anything but fun. Welcome to the end of the world. Or as I would like to call it, Hell.
gosh, is that all that's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless?
Those worlds will be restored if we beat Ansem, right?
You betcha!
But if we do beat him, and all these worlds become restored and disconnected, what's gonna happen to this place? And to us?
This is a Heartless world, so maybe it'll just disappear.
Huh?
But no worries. Even if this place goes poof, our hearts ain't going nowhere. I'm sure we'll find our pals again. Yep, I just know that we will. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I'll return this. I promise.
So, welcome to the end of the world. It's fittingly... It's quite fitting for its name, because here we get one of the two most obnoxious enemies in the game. These are... That's not right. There we go. These are the Invincible. They are sword-wielding Heartless that basically are ridiculously strong. They attack you relentlessly, and they have various other nasty spells, one in which they sink their sword into the ground, disappear, and have various shadows circling around you, eventually hitting you. It's very awkward to get the timing to avoid that attack. And these guys are hell to deal with, especially since there are several, any of them. This basically makes it important to tweet the 199 Dalmatian thing, or 101 Dalmatian, whatever you please, to get the final arrow spell, because without it, you're going to be bombarded on every single... basically, you're going to be bombarded everywhere with these guys. And the other enemies that comes exclusive to this world. You may notice that these enemies spawned while we were getting close to the treasure chest. Not all treasure chests are like this, but most of them will have enemies around them. Some will just come close to them, some will appear when you come close, others will do this. Now, this place is basically just filler. We're going to be fighting a lot, and I mean a lot of enemies. And that's not fun to watch. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip almost all of this stuff that's not introducing any new enemies. Because you don't want to watch an entire video with nothing but combat. We're not going to get any story at all at this point. Well, barely any story at all. So I just figure it's better just to skip all of the tedious fighting. Also, hey, it's a behemoth again. Or as the game would like to call it, an arch behemoth. It's basically the same as a regular behemoth, except maybe it's slightly a bit stronger or whatever. But yeah, get used to seeing him a lot. I think we'll be fighting him at least 3 times in this world. Whoop-de-doo. And finally, the other enemy in this world, Angel Stars. They're not as bad as Invincible, but they're still relentless. And they're also annoying. They're flying enemies that are able to block if you attack them too much, and if you're not attacking them, they'll be throwing various of projectiles at you. Again, you want the final arrow spell in order to be able to survive their attacks. Without it, it's almost impossible. Right, at this point we should just be skipping towards all the treasures and all such things. I don't know what I was doing there. I guess I think I was trying to get my bearings on where I was going. This whole area is super weird. It's like, it's filled with invisible barriers you can't see. Because there's little to no landmass at all. Or walls or anything. Just separate islands and treasure chests, and that's it. I don't know why the game gives us pretty stones. We're not exactly hurting for money. In fact, we don't need any more money at this point. All we can do with money is buy potions and ethers and such. And we got more than enough to last us. Anyway, we should be almost be done with this area. Once I figure out where the invisible walls are, start running into them. And once we deal with all of these damn enemies that keep spawning here. Now we can finally go on to this mysterious thing and see what this is all about, right? Nope, of course not. You have to fight the behemoth again, because of course you do. I really hope you like behemoth. I really hope you like behemoth. Because you're gonna be seeing him a lot. Right, so this area is a little bit weird. There's little to no enemies here at all. A couple of treasures, and you're free to travel around as much as you please. But the point is just to find the exit and continue on. So let's just go ahead and do our thing and exploring this place, finding all the treasures, and... yeah, this is kind of tedious. This is not a good... this place is not good. It's just really tedious. I get this is the end game and they want to basically give you like a super big challenge, but this is certainly not the way to go about it. It's just their way of just making the game longer and longer than it necessarily should be. The game by itself is long enough. Just let us fight the final boss and get it over with already. We got another weapon for Donald. There's something over there. We have to go find out what that's all about. Ah, I can't wait for this thing to be over. I can't wait for this to be over. If anything, I'm quite dedicated to finding all the treasures in this game. I don't know if a lot of people would be bothered to do such a thing, since it's not like you really need half the treasures you find anymore. I kind of feel like I should edit this bit a bit more, but yes, you might reach this by jumping. Thanks, game. Yeah, I get the feeling I probably should edit this out a bit more, but again, I want to show off this area so that people are fully familiar with what everything is and such. Here are the only enemies you actually get to see in this area. Of course, it's those annoying ones that keep blocking your attacks at some point. And I think that should be the last treasure for this area, so we can finally proceed with the plot. Or what little there is at this point. Now this area is a bit weird. Basically, you proceed through each of these things or whatever. You find this purple thing, and if you enter it, you go to a previously visited area. And here you get to fight yet even more enemies. All the enemies you fought many times before and definitely needed to fight again. And your price for doing so is even more treasure. And of course, I decided to show off all these areas and skip all the combat because that's boring. It's getting to the point where I have literally nothing to talk about left. I mean, this place has literally nothing to talk about. It's just combat, 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 combat. I suppose that's it's kind of the problem with playing a JRPG. You're going to come to various points where there's little to nothing you can talk about because you just try to get through the various areas you need to get through in order to get to the actual interesting plot stuff. I'd say interesting, but I mean, in a gameplay perspective, I suppose it's a pretty neat touch in you actually get to go to visit all these areas again and fight these old enemies. But all we have done in this world is fight enemies upon enemies upon enemies upon enemies. It's not really something that is really fun to do, really. If you have to do it so constantly. I mean, the combat is fun, but this area is not fun because there's nothing. It's just combat and just combat and just combat. The thing about a JRPG is you at least got a story that's slightly interesting to keep you going and motivated to keep doing this stuff. And for the most part, you did because you're visiting Disney World and getting to the plot of the movies and such. But it's just boring stuff. Boring stuff. It's just tedious as hell. Again, I mentioned it before, this game is flawed, and in the later games they do eventually fix the majority of these major flaws. Okay, I think we're finally getting through the last stretch of these. Hey, check out all the worlds you visited. At least, well, not really, but... Sorry. Alright, so this green one is actually a bit different because you actually get to visit 100 Acre Wood. And it's completely safe, you can actually save here. Which is about time, because we've gone through excessive amounts of enemies, so... And of course, back we go to... Allot Bastion-ish place or something? Actually, this might be a completely different place entirely. It's got the Allot Bastion look, but I don't think there's a room like this in Allot Bastion. And you get something actually, stuff about hearts and such. Presumably Ansem's research or whatever. It goes into more about Kingdom Hearts, the origin of hearts, darkness, yada yada yada, plot stuff. At least it's something besides fighting, so we're gonna go ahead and take it. And of course the game decides to spawn enemies while we're busy reading. fun. But we're finally done with all that. We can finally proceed to the next area. And so we fight the devil himself. Because why the hell not? I mean, I gotta admit, it's actually kind of a cool thing to actually fight, I think, like a short, Disney short, based on the devil and whatever this classical song is called. It seems like classical music, but I'm terrible with names. I do kind of find it hilarious that Sora himself is going to end up fighting the devil. I mean, he technically will end up fighting the Greek god of death, so I guess it's not too out of place. Anyway, the devil! He's the devil! He's very fiery and he's kind of crazy. Think of him as Maleficent, Dragon Maleficent, and... what's that girl? What's a lady? Ursula. Alright, sorry, there we go. Think of her as Maleficent and Ursula combined together, and you got the devil. He has various attacks that are incredibly ridiculous. That one in particular is very nasty because it deals 3 attacks that take a good chunk of your health down. The typical strategy is to bring about your ethers, elixirs, and spam healing and arrow in order to ensure you survive fighting him and bring his health down as much as you can. And sometimes you'll eventually do this annoying push you back attack, which keeps you from actually dealing damage to him. Just keep going for his head, make sure you want your health and your wind spell, and you should eventually be able to take him down. Compared to the crap you have had to deal with before, he shouldn't be too much trouble if you manage to survive it. Just be careful and you should be able to take him down. A nice thing, if you have Leap Racer and he does that obnoxious fiery attack, you just cast healing spells in order to avoid one of the attacks. Best do it with the last attack so you can at least get most health. You don't lose the health you retain. There we go. At age of 13, we defeated the devil. And we obtained Super Glide. It's Glide, but it's a bit more better as it allows you to stay afloat for a lot longer. It's not really that useful in this game. You can basically get everything with Glide by itself. You're probably thinking, well, we took down the devil himself. Surely we should be able to get to the final boss now, right? I mean, it's not like the game's gonna force us to fight even more Heartless that we have fought for a long time now. It's not like we're gonna have to fight the Behemoth again for the 3rd time in a row. Right? Right? I wish I could lie to you, but no, we have more tedious fighting before we can get to the final boss. Because even after fighting the devil, the developers figured we need to make this game even longer. So here we go. Welcome to hell. You have a behemoth dropping on your head, and that's just one part of the hell. Why does I just speed it up? Because, for fuck's sake, yeah. This room requires you to defeat a whole lot of enemies, including the behemoth, in order to open up parts of the door that is now being highlighted. So, with only the items you have with you once you enter this room, you have to survive all of these enemies. So bring out your elixirs if you have them. You're going to be needing them. I decided to take mercy on you guys and skip the majority of this because that was painful. And the best part is, if you don't go to a save point, you have to do all of this stuff all over again, like I did. And here's the damn save point. But that's it. That's it over there. Beyond the door, the finale. So we could go to the final boss. But hey, we got one more thing we need to do. Tournaments. There's yet another tournament, including some special ones, but we're gonna focus on the Hades Cup. And yes, the Hades Cup will feature Hades himself. However, the Hades Cup is a bit different from other cups, is that it's 50 matches. You have to fight 50 rounds of enemies, or close to it. Technically 49, since you're the 50th participant. Now thankfully, if you complete 10 of these battles, you can continue off from after completing them, so you don't have to do the entire 50 in one go. Which is quite merciful. Yet at this point I also decided to use items during the tournaments, which you could actually do, but I decided not to since I figured that's kind of a cheap way to do it. Here you will definitely need it because some of these enemies are relentless. Unless you want to grind a lot of levels, which thankfully I actually haven't had to do a lot in this game, you will have to use all of the stuff you gathered and hope they will be able to carry yourself through all the relentless waves of enemies. Now I won't be able to show off the entire tournament, but I will be able to show it in the bonus part since I actually managed to beat Hades, who's hell of a bastard of a boss, and the Rock Titan, which is the actual final opponent in this tournament, which was a complete pushover. And yep, here's another behemoth. You love fighting him so much, you had to fight him yet another time. I told him we could see him a lot. But you know what? I think that's enough commentary for the one day. The rest of it is just this. So, I'm gonna go head off and recover myself for the final episode of this damn game. See you next time. And welcome back. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off these postcard things that I've not been able to do because, frankly, some of the locations of these things are outright ridiculous. Some are not too bad, but you'll see some of them are placed in some really stupid locations, which you'll only be able to figure out with a guide. Now in the Gizmo shop, this clock will only give you postcards if you press all the buttons on the upper floors. Which was the thing I didn't realize what they did. And this one is hidden in this damn corner. Because game design. Ain't that wonderful, kids? Anyway, that's one side quest done, and we'll soon be able to go on with the plot in a moment. Get closer to beating this damn game. If I recall last time, we couldn't go to Allot Bastion because the Heartless have already taken the road there. We'll have to use an alternate road that's inaccessible thanks to Sid's hidden gummy, Navi gummy piece or whatever. So let's get this over with. Ah, gummy ship missions. I love watching them for the second time, and by love them, I don't really care much for them. This is the second time recording because I made a mistake in the editing and had to fix it, so that's something that for the cutscenes would be there. Which I thought was in the recording, but whatever. It's the joys of video recording, and I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but whatever. I just want to be finished with this LP and be finished with this game so that we can all move on to something different. I mean, I love this game. Even after all the crap I deal with, I still think it's a good game, and I think everybody should give it a try at some point in their lives. Because this game is flawed, yes. But a lot of great games are flawed. There's no game that's absolutely perfect. There's always a flaw even with the greatest games. But the thing is, all of the good things about the game outweighs the bad things, which makes it great. The bad things about a game is, a bad game usually has bad things outweigh the good things. Even if there are good things about a game, the bad thing just makes it unenjoyable for a lot of people. And I think Kingdom Hearts is a pretty fun game. It's tedious at some points, but overall it's fun. The gameplay is fun, the story is dumb, but still somewhat enjoyable. You get to visit Disney World. Always a fun thing. And I'm gonna be a bit sad that it's ending soon, even if I am thankful it's over soon. I do kind of wish that these coming minigames were a bit more interesting. Thankfully, in the future games, these do get a lot more interesting. There we go. Having weird feelings to deja vu. Well, get used to it. You're gonna have to go through the entirety of this place all over again. Since the developers didn't figure the game was long enough, they decided that at this point they reset all of the save points. You have to unlock them all over again and start from 0. Or, so you have to climb up this giant ass castle all over again. Twice if you're me and you forgot to pick up treasure along the road. Anyway, so at this point I'm just going to go ahead and collect all the treasures and all of the stuff in Allot Bastion. Or at least as many as I can find that can be hard to get, so that we don't have to deal with them in the future. We are reaching again the end of the game, since this is the next to last point of the game. And this is also the next to last part. About time as well. Now it wasn't as tedious as perhaps like Lost Crown or such, but certainly damn lengthy. It certainly required a lot of work on my part due to the amount of editing, the recording,